I had nobody again to talk to, but the times now were even deeper than they ever were in my life. I couldn't call my mom, my dad, my sister. They would have just said, just leave, just leave. And I'm like, but I'm still in love. I don't know what to do. Like, are you serious with this? This is really going down. This is going down.
Chill, it looks like Kevin is not done coming for Wendy for cutting off them alimony payments, because he just went off on her for leaving him broke and homeless. Kevin has been drowning in a lot of debt, and he's now being sued by several banks for failing to pay up the loans he took out. He reportedly even sold his house and all his cars to stay afloat financially, but that's still not enough to save him from poverty. The worst part about this is his side piece, Sharina Hudson, who he cheated on Wendy Williams with, has also dumped that man and wants nothing to do with him anymore. Now, as for Wendy, she's occupied by her upcoming documentary, but she did take some time to throw some shade at him and claimed this is karma for how he treated her while they were together.
I don't recommend that you work with your husband because I made him my manager, and then when I decided to divorce him, he had to be fired. In other words, I made him divorced and unemployed all in one day.
But before we get into the very messy details of that fiasco, let me give y'all a little bit of context as to how Kevin even arrived in the situation in the first place. This whole drama actually started in 2019 when Wendy filed for divorce from Kevin for cheating on her with multiple women. Not only was he sleeping around with no form of protection, but he decided to have a whole baby by one of his mistresses, Sharina Hudson, and he was using Wendy's hard-earned money to father that child and take care of Sharina. Wendy was obviously not rocking with the BS, so she divorced him as soon as she found out.
I don't recommend that you work with your husband because I made him my manager, and then when I decided to divorce him, he had to be fired. In other words, I made him divorced and unemployed all in one day. Or him having this side girl for almost 15 years of our marriage. I've known about her almost since the beginning. I've known that Kevin is a serial cheat. The first time I found out was while I was pregnant with our son on bed rest. During that time, I gave birth to him. He was in the delivery room. You'll see that play out in the movie. He's passing out cigars, and you know, my wife and I, you know, little Kevin, who's not so little anymore, he's 20 years old. I plotted to divorce Kevin, and I sacrificed a lot of myself to come out successful on the other side. And it all worked.
However, despite Wendy divorcing and firing that man, she was actually not free from him yet, because she was ordered by a judge to pay him alimony after their divorce, which ultimately became his only source of income. So then he and Sharina were living their best life with Wendy's money, while Wendy was still struggling with her health and barely even able to work for herself. Sharina opened several businesses, which all failed miserably. Kevin even put her through school to be a massage therapist and opened a kiosk for her at a mall in North Carolina. He also helped her set up a jewelry and a clothing line called Vish. Kevin himself also opened up a barbershop, which terribly failed. And even with all the money they wasted on failed businesses, they continued to live a very luxurious lifestyle, including buying several cars, all with Wendy's money, without having to work a single day for it. But this didn't last too much longer, because Wendy suddenly stopped sending over that money. And that's when things started to take a change for the worse for Kevin. He was quickly running out of money and started maxing out his credit cards to fund the lavish lifestyle that he and Sharina had gotten into. Things got so bad for him that he dragged Wendy to court for being behind on her alimony payments. He said the payments from Wendy were his only source of income, and he had nothing left to keep him afloat. In court documents obtained by the U.S. Sun, he was quoted saying, "I have fallen behind on most of my bills. I currently currently live in a community that requires payments to the homeowners association, and I'm behind on that bill. If the homeowners association fees are not paid, foreclosure will soon follow. He also added, "My car insurance hasn't been paid as a result of not receiving monthly severance payments. I'm behind on my credit card payments because I have no money since the severance payments were suspended. My life has been greatly affected since the plaintiff stopped making payments under our settlement agreement." Child, this man proves every single day that he ain't nothing but a clown. He and his mistress were living off of Wendy's money and didn't think to save a dime because they thought Wendy was just gonna keep clearing them checks. Now, fortunately for Wendy, the judge saw right through Kevin's BS and denied that request. The judge said his request was not emergent and ordered his application to be dismissed without prejudice. Now, you might be wondering how Wendy was able to stop paying them alimony checks with no consequences. Well, you see, Wendy put a clause in the alimony agreement that said that she was only forced to pay Kevin if she still had a talk show. And since the Wendy Williams show was canceled after she got ill, this means she didn't owe him anything anymore. Kevin's financial situation only got worse from here, and he ended up selling his house in Florida for $1.2 million. But that wasn't enough to pay off all his debts, because now he's getting sued by US Bank for failing to make payments on his credit cards worth over 5 figures. Kevin also reportedly took out a loan for a company called Flex Wealth to pay for 2 luxury cars, which he'll now have to pay for.
This backwoods Barbie, he was tricking up money. She's in the passenger seat of my Rolls Royce Ferrari, and really? Really?
But that ain't even the worst of it, because he's currently in a very nasty legal battle with Essential Insurance after he sued them for not honoring the claim over damages to his Ferrari. However, Kevin is already losing this case too, and he was even ordered by a judge to turn in his financial records, including copies of his bank statements, details of loans taken out in the past 4 years, and a copy of his divorce settlement with Wendy, which Kevin refuses to do. Now, it's unclear why he doesn't want to turn the documents in, but him holding back on it is not working out in his favor, because at the last court hearing, a judge actually ruled in favor of the insurance company, which means Kevin is just one step away from losing that case. The worst part about all this is that he isn't the only one getting sued, because Sharina Trifling Self is also being sued by TJ Maxx after maxing out $3,000 on a TJ Maxx card and failing to pay it back. And now, mind you, the minimum payment on a TJ Maxx card is typically between $25 to $35. So the fact that Sharina can't pay that back lets you know they really are down bad. Things are not looking too good for Kevin and Sharina, and with all the reports of Wendy still being severely ill, they're not going to be seeing any checks from Wendy for a very long time. Now, as y'all know, Wendy recently released the trailer for an upcoming documentary where she revealed that her health wasn't getting any better. She also revealed that her money was being managed by a court-ordered financial guardian, which is one of the reasons why Kevin's checks were cut off. Apart from Wendy not being able to work anymore, the money she accumulated prior to her illness isn't even in her control.
All I know is how to be famous. I really want to be back on television.
You're gonna be back on TV. That's easy.
Did you see a neurologist?
To find out if I'm crazy? Oh my God, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. I have to sit down again. I have no money. And I'm gonna tell you something. If it happens to me, it could happen to you.
I miss my family.
I'll be there.
And random people around you,
Stealing money from me.
getting money, whatever the case may be.
Enough.
Now, as for Kevin, he actually reacted to the release of this trailer, and according to sources, he was furious and felt blindsided because he didn't know anything about the documentary being made. He even went as far as to make it look like he was actually worried about Wendy's health so he could potentially trick her into getting back with him, since he knows she needs all the help she can get right now. A source in Wendy's camp spilled the tea exclusively to the US Sun when they said Kevin was taken aback and extremely disappointed by the negative portrayal of Wendy Williams in the trailer for the docuseries. Kevin felt blindsided by the project, particularly after his son, Kevin Hunter Jr., had initially initially expressed a desire to have no involvement in it. But Wendy seems to not be falling for this BS because she recently revealed in an interview that everything that Kevin was going through is just karma for doing her so dirty. In fact, a source told OK Magazine that Wendy had been smiling since she heard the news. Child, this whole situation between Wendy and Kevin is a hot mess, and none of them seem to be winning at all. Team Kevin is severely broke and scrambling to keep his finances together, while Wendy is also ill and her money is being managed by a court-appointed financial guardian. But at least after all of this, Wendy still has some money to go back to. Kevin, on the other hand, is stuck with a side piece and a baby he can't even support, with a whole bunch of debt he probably ain't gonna never pay off. Now, as usual, people have their own thoughts to say about this, and they did not hold back. One person said, Kevin and Sharina are getting everything they deserve. I can't believe Wendy put up with all of Kevin's ish for all the years they were married. That's crazy. She should have divorced his tired self when she found out he was cheating. I'm glad Wendy is with her family, and she's taken time to get her physical health as well as her emotional and spiritual health back on track. I'm thinking Sharina needs to apply at TJ Maxx, since she likes spending so much time there. Another person said Kevin only wants Wendy's money. That's what he misses. His financial stability. Kevin's monthly checks have stopped. Kevin lost his house, cars, and credit cards maxed out. And Kevin is broke. Kevin, this is your karma for the way that you did Wendy. Wendy, don't take this man back. But now I want to know your thoughts on this. What do y'all think about Kevin getting left broke and sued? And do y'all think Kevin really wants Wendy back? Y'all been knew what to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.